Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing Murder by Candlelight, written by Faith Martin. It's a cozy mystery set in the Cotswolds in the 1920s, I think in 1924 to be exact. I like this book. It's got a good writing style, it flows so well. I get a sense the author had so much fun writing this, it just comes through in the story. Just the way it's written, the characters, the setting, everything in the book, just the way the whole book is written, just felt like the author had fun. I got that feeling, that vibe, right through this book. I enjoyed this a lot. It's a great mystery, great setting, and really fun characters. Village mysteries, small village mysteries or small town mysteries really appeal to me. So it's set in the Cotswolds in 1924, so it's an historical cozy mystery. Our main character, or one of our main characters, called Arby, he wrote a book, and he just published it, and it's a gentleman's guide to ghost hunting. It's a book he didn't want to write. He kind of wrote it as a lark, really. Didn't expect much from it, but it's a bestseller. Because of the fame from this book, people think of him as an expert on ghost hunting. Now there's a lady in the village, an elderly lady, and she thinks she's being haunted by a ghost. Well, she's not sure. She thinks it could be a ghost or it could be somebody in her family playing pranks on her to try to kill her or scare her to death or something, because she's quite wealthy and she thinks her nephews or nieces or things like that want her money. So she approaches Arby with a proposition. She wants him to investigate this so-called ghost in her house. Arby's not so sure, he hums and haws, but then Val, another character in this story, and Val is the other main character in this book, and she's a vicar's daughter. She appears and she talks to Arby and this woman, and she kind of pressures Arby, forces Arby into agreeing. So that night, and a couple of nights in this book, both Arby and Val go ghost hunting. Well, it's not really ghost hunting, they just sit there in the house and just wait and watch. That's all they do really in their hunt for ghosts. Nothing much comes from their investigation until Amy Phelps, and Amy Phelps is the lady who wants Arby to hunt the ghost in her home. She falls down a small flight of stairs. She doesn't die, she gets a little bit injured, but she decides from that she wants to change her will, because she's sure that somebody's playing pranks on her to try to hurt her or even kill her, and she's sure she thinks who it is. So she changes her will, nobody knows what the changes are. And then soon after that, Amy Phelps is found dead in her room one morning. This is where the mystery is very interesting. It's a locked room mystery. She's found dead in her room. Her bedroom door's locked. The window's locked. No sign that anybody went in or out of her room. But she's found dead. And they find out it's murder. Murder by poison. Now I'll leave the plot there. That's where it gets really interesting though in this story, that mystery. And I do like locked room mysteries. They're so interesting. They make you think. They make you kind of hunt for clues in the story. And I was there trying to hunt for clues in the book to see if I could work out who the culprit was. And I was wrong. I was guessing here and there. I think I just missed the clues. It's written so well though, because when you find out who did this in the mystery, when you find out who the culprit was, those clues become evident. You read them in the story, they were there right in front of your face, you might have missed them when you read them, but it all makes sense because the mystery, all those clues are tied up into the mystery in this story. I like that very much in this book. The sign the mystery is well written, well thought out and well planned. I really enjoyed the setting in this story. It's a small village setting and I do like those settings in books, especially mysteries. There's something about mysteries in small towns and small villages to make those mysteries come alive. And sometimes in those settings the characters become more alive as well because you get right into those characters. Those relationships between characters become more evident, I think, in a small setting as well. I do like that in books. I like it in this book that's well written, well described. I felt like I was there in those settings. Even the buildings, the countryside, everything is described very well in this story. The characters overall are well written. Even small characters, they do suit the time period, they suit the setting, they feel like they're small village characters as well, just the way they talk, interact, the way they go about their business, doing things throughout the day. Everything just felt small town with those characters, but because they're small town characters doesn't mean they're not interesting. They are very engaging, sometimes quirky, but in a very good way. So very well written, very engaging. I like the characters very much in this story. Arby, who's the main character in this book, I like him very much in this story. He's so well written. He's quirky, but he's got a great energy. He feels so full of life in this story. He really drags you into the book. He drags you into his point of view as well. I really like him in this story. Great character, well written. I'm hoping there's a sequel to this book because he's so well written. I want to see him in more books. Val, who's the vicar's daughter and also Arby's friend in this book, I like the way she's written. She's written in a way where you wonder about Arby and Val. Will they become more than friends? I'm hoping there's future books in this series. I want to see how that develops. I like to see how their friendship develops in the series. I think she's a great character. She's a free spirit. She does so many great things in this book as well. Got a strong mind. I just like the way she fits into the setting as well. She feels like a bit of a rebel in some ways in this book as well. She really drags you into the story. Uncle. This is Arby's uncle in the book. And I think in this story, nobody mentions his first name. He's always referred to as Uncle, even by Arby. He's a good character though. He's quirky, he's eccentric. He suits that time period and that setting. He just feels like one of those free spirit characters as well in this story. He does what he wants, but he's also very talented, very creative. He stands out in this book a lot. He's not there for a lot of scenes, but he's there sometimes just to kind of play not a wise character, but a rock character. He seems central to Arby's life, and I like that in this book. It's nice to see Arby as the main character have this kind of rock focus that he can go home to and kind of be centered a bit in this story. It kind of balances out that quirky side of Arby as well. But then we have Uncle being quirky as well, so it's good to see that in those scenes. When Uncle's being quirky, Arby's not so quirky, if that makes sense. It just seems like that Arby's more quirky when he's outside the influence of his uncle. But great character in this book. I really enjoyed this book. I like the setting, I like the mystery. I thought that lock room mystery was done so well. It kept me guessing. I was wrong about who I thought the culprit was, but when I found out who the culprit was and I went back and thought about the clues, they were all there. It's great to see mysteries that make sense, that don't just have somebody pop out of nowhere and that's the culprit. Everything makes sense in this mystery, in this story. So well done. And I like the characters as well. The characters all make sense to the setting. They all feel like they belong there, and they're all so well written. I rate this a 4 out of 5. Really enjoyed it. I hope this is the first in a series. I'd like to see these characters in a sequel. On my channel, I review many cozy mysteries. If you enjoy cozy mysteries, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video for another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.